It's graduation season, so we thought we'd share some advice for this year's class of aspiring journalists. But before we offer our pearls of wisdom, here's what New York Times reporter David Carr told this year's graduates of the UC Berkeley Graduate School of Journalism.
Don't worry about branding yourself other than not being naked on your social feeds. I don't think it's really important for you to work a lot on brand development. I mean, I believe in social media engagement. I've got a little problem with Twitter myself, as Ed pointed out. But it's more important that you fit in before you stick out.
More important to fit in before you stick out. That's a good one. All right, who wants to go first? What do you got, Susie?
So mine is, I think that there's so much pressure to be perfect now. I sort of have been at Harvard this year, and I've met a lot of undergrads. So mine would be to give yourself some time to explore. You don't have to know what you're doing right away. It's great that some people do, but try things, take risks, be a little bit less strict with yourself than I think is sort of recommended these days. And the other thing I'd say is, no matter what you do, still you're going to have to work really hard and hustle, because there's nothing more annoying than an entitled recent college grad.
Yes. All right.
Well, I have to repeat what I say now, and with even more urgency. I have a speech that I give to many college campuses called "I'm Not Afraid to Talk About It, Breaking the Silence About Race." And I use all examples on college campuses because, what happens is this generation says, "That's not us, that's you, gray hairs. We don't have a problem with race. We're all post-racial." And there's dead silence in the room when I'm finished. These are all your people. I'm not quoting anybody else. So this is my thing. Get out of your comfort zone. I know we talk about having the conversation about race. You've got to expand wherever you are, and I mean everybody. Where you just gotta cross some boundaries here and make it better. You can't repeat what's still going on in this country. I feel very strongly about it, and as I see things getting worse and worse on these campuses, I feel it's urgent.
All right, Dan.
Be entrepreneurial. Go to work for a startup. And don't just do great journalism for the startup, but learn the business of the startup, whether it's for-profit or non-profit or whatever. Learn it inside out and be thinking from the beginning of what your next step will be, maybe at another startup. Maybe if you really learn the business, you'll be doing your own startup in a few years, because we are in an era when the best job you ever have may be one you create yourself.
Good one. All right, so mine is a more tangible piece of advice, and that is when you're seeking work in the journalism field and you're going for a job that requires some writing, and the prospective employer turns to you and said, "Can you write?" Search your soul for the answer, because it's probably no. And what you need to do is pick someone who you really admire, appreciate. Martha Raddatz as a reporter, Scott Pelley as a presenter, David Carr maybe as a writer. Look at the way they tell a story. Pick someone that you like and say, "Could I do that?" And if you really think you can, then you've probably got it. Anybody remember what their first job was? Did it take you to the next place?
I mean, my first job was serving frozen yogurt when I was 13.
In
journalism. My first job was at NBC News, and it did take me to the next place. I was a news associate. I was part of their diversity hire program.
When did you get the job?
2003, when I graduated from graduate school.
I mean, how long from graduation?
Oh, I got it before I graduated. I was like one of the only people who ever did that.
I thought I could beat you. I got my way into my job 3 months after graduation.
What was it?
On the air, reporting.
Oh, my God.
That's impressive. That's way more impressive.
Well, let's just say the people of Memphis were at home going, What? For that first year.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's talking about.
I was a Northeastern co-op student at the Woonsocket Call in Rhode Island. Great training. Very good small daily paper. Family owned at the time. They're still in business, although they're a lot smaller than they used to be.
Gosh, I thought there was like an FBI dossier ad on me. I could not get a job. And then I finally ended up going to this little radio station in the Berkshires, but I was writing ad copy. I can remember the first ad I wrote, it was 10 seconds.
Well, you've come a long way.
It was really, but it was, I didn't have an easy time. Certainly didn't get the.
Did you search your soul to find out if you could write that ad?
I knew I could, and that got me the job. Okay. I could even write that 10-second ad.
Okay.